Original post. I, 35F, come from a tightly knit family of 3 siblings, me, my younger brother Mark, 32, who's married to Lisa, 30, and my elder sister Sarah, 40, who has always been the family's golden child. We all have our distinct personalities. I'm the caretaker, Mark is the carefree spirit, and Sarah, well, she's a bit controlling. Our parents, who are in their 60s, have always encouraged us to keep close and support one another, even when it's sometimes strained. Recently, we received some shocking news. Our family patriarch, my dad, had passed away unexpectedly. During the chaotic days following his passing, we were all grieving, and then, as expected, the issue of inheritance arose. My dad had promised us that we would each receive an equal share of the house and other assets. However, when we sat down with our lawyer to go through the will, we discovered something we hadn't anticipated. My dad had written a letter, one I was instructed to read alone. In it, he revealed a family secret that none of us had known. He had a son, Jackson, from a relationship before he married my mom. Jackson is now 25 and lives in another state. The moment I read that letter, everything I thought I knew about my dad, our family, and what inheritance meant was turned completely upside down. Now I've been tasked with reaching out to Jackson, introduce him to the rest of the family, and ultimately decide how to split the inheritance. I'm torn. How is Mark going to react? Is Sarah going to storm in as usual to ensure everything goes her way? What if Jackson wants a larger share due to being a lost child? I need advice on how to navigate this minefield. Update 1. I gathered the courage to contact Jackson. Turns out, he was just as shocked as we were. He agreed to meet, and we chose a coffee shop halfway between our cities. It felt surreal sitting across from him. He has a kind smile and a very mellow vibe, which lightened my heart amidst all this chaos. To make a long story short, Jackson was curious to know about our family, but there was an overwhelming sense of abandonment lingering in the air. He mentioned how difficult it has been growing up knowing he didn't belong in a normal family structure. My heart broke for him. By the end of our conversation, I could see how eager he was to learn about my father and the family as a whole. I also explained the situation about the inheritance. To my surprise, he didn't seem to care much about the assets or the money itself, he just wanted to be part of a family. However, I can't help but worry about how the rest of my family will take this. Comments. First comment, wow, this sounds like a lot to handle. It's good that Jackson seems understanding, but what about your siblings? OP's response, exactly. I'm so worried about their reactions, especially Sarah's. I just hope Mark can be a bit more level-headed in all of this. Second comment, have you thought about how to introduce him to the rest of the family? Is it going to be all at once, or one by one? OP's response, I think I might bring him over for a family dinner, but I'm terrified about how they will react to him being there. Third comment, this could turn into a huge mess. Just remember that blood is thicker than water. OP's response, true, but my dad's secret changes everything. I just hope they can see that Jackson is more than just a lost child. Update 2. Well, I did it. I invited Jackson over for dinner. I thought it would go smoothly, but let's just say, my instincts were pretty off. We were all seated at the table, trying to keep things light and normal. After dinner, that's when I dropped the bombshell. I started by mentioning how important family is and how my dad believed in openness, and then I introduced Jackson. The room fell silent. Sarah's face instantly turned red, and she slammed her fork down, shouting that this was outrageous. Mark looked lost, but I could see the gears turning in his mind. I tried to hold Jackson's hand to provide him some assurance, but it just seemed to infuriate Sarah more. She accused our dad of cheating and undermining our family's values. As I tried to explain that Jackson was also part of our family, she said she didn't want a brother who would just swoop in for the money. It was chaotic. Plates were pushed aside, and voices escalated. In the confusion, I realized that Jackson had slipped out of the house unnoticed. I ended the night feeling like a failure for bringing pain instead of healing. Comments. First comment, that's an intense reaction. Did you expect that from Sarah? OP's response, I knew she would struggle, but not like that. I just didn't think she would be so heartless. Second comment, it sounds like you need to talk to her one-on-one. Could she be a bit jealous? OP's response, maybe. She's always sought our father's approval, and now this complicates everything. I'll try talking to her privately. Third comment, you need to find a way to unify everyone. It's not really about the money, but about family. OP's response, I completely agree. I truly believe if we look past our anger, we can form a bigger family. Update 3. After the dinner fiasco, I realized I couldn't just let things hang in the air. I called Sarah and asked if we could meet, just the two of us. To my surprise, she agreed. We met at a local cafe, and it was tense to say the least. I started by apologizing for the way things went down during dinner. It took a while before she opened up. Turns out, she had felt replaced, like my dad's last-minute decision to introduce Jackson was throwing her off. She felt the weight of the legacy and feared she might lose the status she'd always held. I worked so hard for Dad's approval. Why should this kid get anything, she exclaimed, and honestly, it pained me to hear her say that. After a lengthy discussion, I finally told her what I had been hinting at for years. Our father always preached love and acceptance. I spoke of the lessons I learned about family, how we are called to uplift rather than destroy. By the end of our conversation, there was a shift. Sarah agreed to give Jackson another chance, but only if I promised to help her navigate this newfound relationship. Comments. First comment, I'm glad you talked to her. It sounds like she just needs some reassurance. OP's response, absolutely. I think deep down she knows she'd never lose our dad's love, but she needed to hear it. Second comment, family dynamics can be tough. I hope it works out for you all. OP's response, thanks. I really hope we can build something new and solid together. Third comment, does Mark know how you and Sarah patch things up? OP's response, not yet, but I plan to discuss it with him soon. I think he'll be more open to Jackson if he knows we're trying. Update 4. Just when I thought things were settling down, Jackson showed up at my doorstep a few days later. I was surprised to see him, but we welcomed him in. Once he was seated, he shared that he had been thinking about our life situation, and he needed to talk. Jackson expressed how much he wanted to be part of our family, but he also felt like an outsider still. That hit hard, he had already been through so much. As we talked, I suggested that we could all meet again, this time to have a heart-to-heart about our relationship moving forward. To my delight, he was willing. So, I reached out to Sarah and Mark and set up another dinner, this time to really discuss inclusion and how we could all work together to bond as a family, even if it would take time. Comments. First comment, I love your determination to include Jackson. It's not easy, but it's so worth it. OP's response, thanks. I feel it's imperative to make things right again. Second comment, I hope this dinner goes better. Just try not to stress, breathe. OP's response, I'll do my best to keep calm and focus on love. That's all that matters at this point. Third comment, maybe if you share stories about your dad, it'll bridge the gap. OP's response, that's an amazing idea. A walk down memory lane could help everyone connect. Final update. The second dinner felt completely different. Everyone arrived with tentative hearts but hopeful spirits. We started by reminiscing about funny stories involving our dad. Moments like these created a sense of solidarity, laughter shared, and memories that knitted us closer together. Eventually, we shifted towards more vulnerable conversations. I let Jackson share his feelings about his place in our family, and I could feel the tension slowly dissolve in the air. He spoke honestly and bravely about his isolation growing up, and it was clear Sarah was moved. To my surprise, Sarah grabbed his hand and apologized for her earlier outburst at the last dinner. She acknowledged that every family is imperfect, and what matters now is how we continue to shape our story as one. Mark chimed in, and it transformed into a heartwarming exchange of family values, lessons we learned from our dad, and even hopes for the future together, regardless of our shared past. In the end, we decided that the inheritance would be equally divided, but what resonated even more was our new commitment to being available for one another as family members. As we hugged it out, I couldn't help but feel that in the midst of our struggles and drama, something beautiful had emerged, a new definition of family anchored by love, grace, and acceptance. Despite the challenges we faced, I knew that with open hearts and a little encouragement, we were finally fulfilling my father's greatest desire, a family united. Comments on final update. First comment, this gives me so much hope. Family is about love, not money. OP's response, absolutely. It was eye-opening how love healed old wounds. Second comment, what a beautiful outcome for you all. Congrats. OP's response, thanks. I'm still amazed at how far we've come in such a short time. Third comment, this was an incredible journey. I can't wait to hear more about your family as you all grow together. OP's response, I'll definitely keep everyone updated. We're ready to write this new chapter together. And with that, I closed my post, feeling grateful for the blessings that came through even the most tumultuous storms.